Most individuals fail not due to a lack of strength, but because they are unable to govern their feelings when tested. Consider the last occasion you witnessed someone who was objectively correct fail to win a debate. They possessed the evidence. Their reasoning was sound, yet the instant pressure mounted. They fractured. Their tone became shrill. Their gestures turned frantic. In a heartbeat, their credibility vanished. Every dispute you encounter is an examination, not of your intellect, nor of your evidence. It is an examination of your command. Can you remain composed when your perspective is assaulted? Can you reason lucidly when your pulse is thundering? Can you articulate serenely when every fiber of your being is screaming to erupt? If you can, you prevail. Not merely the discussion, you gain esteem, confidence, and influence. An astute philosopher, Machiavelli, grasped a concept that eludes many even now. Authority is not held by the most vociferous individual present. It belongs to the person who maintains their equanimity when all others disintegrate. He dedicated his existence to analyzing rulers and statesmen. He observed kingdoms ascend and crumble and uncovered a stark reality. If you cannot master yourself, you cannot command anything else. Today, we will deconstruct the precise method for remaining immovable in any clash. We will explore how your physiology can betray you in an instant, how individuals assess you before you utter a word, and how to transform strain into an asset. Before we commence, repeat this aloud with me. I remain unshaken. Internalize it, because by the conclusion, you will comprehend why that declaration holds more gravity than any case you could ever present. Let us start. 1. The world believes in poise, not justifications. Here is the common and profound error most make. They believe conflicts are triumphed over with flawless rhetoric. They practice their rebuttals. They assemble their data. They arrange their logic like artillery. And then, when the critical moment arrives, they deliver their impeccable reply, and it falls on deaf ears. Because in fervent instances, people are not hearing your language in the way you assume. They are observing you, deciphering you, analyzing every minute signal your physique How stable is your vocal delivery? How tranquil is your expression? How regulated is your respiration? Based on these cues, they form an instantaneous verdict regarding your trustworthiness and your fortitude. A great thinker once noted, individuals are swayed by perception as much as by actuality. He did not suggest appearances are somewhat significant. He declared they are equally significant. Your demeanor during a confrontation is just as crucial as whether you are factually correct. Observe two people disagreeing. One has all the data, but their speech is tremulous. They avoid direct gaze. They are agitated. The other may be partially mistaken, but they are collected. They speak deliberately. They maintain visual engagement. Who, in your estimation, prevails? The composed one, invariably, because composure radiates dependability. It leads people to conclude, this individual possesses knowledge I lack. This person has command. Anxiety, however, projects fragility. It suggests the person is concealing something, that they lack conviction in their own statements. You can have veracity supporting you and still fail, because you could not manage your presentation. This is why readiness is not solely about your speech. It is about your demeanor. When you are challenged, your primary task is not self-defense. Your primary task is to remain anchored. If your manner is composed, you seem credible even without an ideal retort. People will grant a tranquil person time to talk. They will offer them the benefit of the doubt, but they will not extend that courtesy to someone in distress. Consider professional evaluations. A difficult, unexpected query is posed. You have two paths. Falter over syllables. Fill the quiet with nervous noise. Your pitch rises. You can perceive in their gaze that you are losing them. Path 2. Hesitate. Inhale. Look at them directly. That is an excellent question. Allow me a moment to consider it. Then, utilize that second with calm assurance. Which candidate is selected? The second, not due to a superior answer, but because of a more powerful presence. This principle is universal. Disagreements with a significant other, discussions with a superior, public critique, familial conflicts. Your verbal expressions are less critical than your bearing. Your rationale is less critical than your self-possession. Remain anchored, and people will have faith in you even in disagreement. Remain anchored, and you direct the space even without all the solutions. Poise inspires trust. Agitation sows skepticism. 2. An anchored physique fosters an anchored intellect. Let us be precise, because advising stay calm is simple. Executing it with a racing heart is another matter. In a dispute, people scrutinize your body, and your body reveals the truth. Even as your mouth dissembles, if your palms tremble and your gaze darts, no one is convinced. Your physique is a public display of your inner condition, and most can interpret it within moments. Trembling hands indicate nervousness. A shifting gaze suggests insecurity. A hurried voice signals alarm. Folded arms imply defensiveness. Every gesture, every adjustment in stance, every modulation in tone, people detect it and utilize it to determine whether to esteem you or disregard you. As was wisely stated, people assess more by vision than by argument. What they witness in your demeanor carries more weight than what you contend with language. To remain immovable, first govern your physique, because your psyche will follow your body's lead, not the reverse. The common misconception is backward. People believe soothing their mind will soothe their body, but when you are in a confrontation, your nervous system is already engaged. Attempting to calm your thoughts through cognition alone is like halting a freight train by wishing it to stop. Govern your body. Your cerebrum takes signals from your physique. If your body is tranquil, your brain concludes, perhaps this is not so threatening. Your mind will follow. Here are 3 elements you can command immediately. Your respiration. Under duress, your breathing becomes rapid and shallow, emanating from your chest. This signals your brain danger. Survival mode. Your prefrontal cortex managing logic disengage. Your amygdala managing fear assumes control. This is why people utter foolish statements in arguments. Their terrified brain is steering. When you feel the temperature rising, decelerate your breath. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Breathe from your diaphragm, not your chest. Do this several times. Your heart rate will decrease. Your brain receives the message, we are secure. Now you can think with clarity. Your stance, stand or sit, as if you are in command, not arrogantly, just solid. Standing, place your feet shoulder width apart. Avoid shifting your weight constantly. Just remain firm. Sitting, sit upright. Avoid slouching. Keep your shoulders relaxed but not drooped. Keep your hands in view and motionless. Do not fiddle with objects. Do not repeatedly cross and uncross your arms. Every superfluous motion broadcasts unease. Keep your hands tranquil on the surface, on your legs or at your sides, calm and controlled. This makes you appear steadfast to observers, and it makes you feel steadfast. Your brain observes your body acting calmly and begins to believe it. Your vocal tone. When nervous or irate, your voice accelerates, its pitch rises, and its volume becomes erratic. You speak faster, attempting to express everything before your courage fails. The moment your voice alters in this manner, people cease trusting you. Therefore, slow it down. Speak at 70% of your normal tempo. Slightly lower your pitch. Maintain a consistent volume. If you require a pause. Do not fill silences with filler words or anxious laughter. Let the quiet reside. Silence is potent. Silence discomfits others. When they are uncomfortable, they begin speaking to bridge the gap. When they start talking, you regain command. A calm, deliberate voice makes people halt in attention. It creates the impression that you possess knowledge they do not. Here is what many fail to recognize. Composed body language not only makes you appear formidable, it causes others to question their own distress. When you remain calm while someone shouts, a peculiar process occurs in their mind. They begin to feel unbalanced. They are expending energy toward you, and you are not reacting as anticipated. They expected you to reciprocate their intensity. When you do not, they doubt themselves. Why am I so agitated? Why is this person not frightened? Do they know something I do not? Just like that, you have seized the superior position without elevating your voice. The strategic mind knew that whoever commands their body commands the circumstance. Influence is not about hostility, it is about presence. When someone confronts you aggressively, when strain surges, remember, slow your respiration, steady your stance, moderate your voice, master your physique, and your mind will follow. Master both, and no one can unsettle you. 3. Objectivity bestows lucidity. Let us discuss the trap of personalizing conflict. Someone critiques you, questions your capability, and you instantly feel it viscerally. That heat, that defensiveness, that inner voice roaring. How dare that? From that instant, you are no longer thinking clearly. You are reacting, defending, safeguarding your pride, instead of resolving the issue. That is the moment of defeat. The second you take something personally, you abandon strategy, you cease planning ahead, you lose sight of the larger context. You are merely striving to triumph now, irrespective of the future cost. This is where objectivity becomes your supreme advantage. Objectivity does not imply apathy. It means you do not allow emotions to commandeer your brain when it is most essential. It means stepping back, even mid-conflict, and perceiving the scenario as a spectator, not a casualty. The philosopher advised, a sagacious person behaves as he must, not as he feels, not what provides emotional satisfaction, not what appeases your ego, but what you must do to achieve the results you genuinely desire. Frequently this entails maintaining calm, remaining objective, and replying with intelligence instead of emotion. For instance, you are in a conference, you have dedicated weeks to a project, you present your concept, then a colleague, David, dismantles it publicly. This is unworkable, it's unrealistic. We've attempted similar approaches before. You have two options. Actually, David, if you had reviewed the complete proposal, you would see I've accounted for those issues. This is entirely different. Now the atmosphere is tense, everyone is uneasy. David intensifies his stance, because you opposed him openly. Even if you are correct, you appear unfavorable, because you could not manage critique without becoming emotional. Option 2. Detach. Recognize that David's remark is not a personal assault. It is merely data. Perhaps he has a legitimate worry. Perhaps he is being obstructive. Regardless, it is irrelevant. You are not present to defend your pride. You are present to make the optimal decision. So you pause, nod. That's a valid observation, David. What is your primary concern? Let's examine it. Observe the outcome. Tension diminishes. The group perceives you as rational. David either clarifies his concern constructively, aiding in refining the idea, or retreats, because he lacks a substantial basis. Either way, you succeed, not through combat, but through maintaining objectivity. Perceive the distinction. The first version was acting as you felt, defensive, salted, emotional. The second was acting as you must, strategic, calm, focused on the objective. That is objectivity. Objectivity also shields you from regrettable statement. How often have you uttered something severe in the heat of the moment, then spent days lamenting it? This occurs because you were not objective. You were immersed in your emotions, and your emotions desired to inflict harm, to prevail, to retaliate. Once language is released, it is irretrievable. You can express regret, clarify, but you cannot nullify the harm. Objectivity grants you room to think, room to select your words prudently, room to inquire, will my forthcoming statement aid me or harm me in the long term? Often it will cause harm, so you refrain. Instead, you respond intelligently, remain focused, and keep your aim in sight. The more you practice objectivity, the less exertion it demands. Initially it is challenging. You consciously remind yourself to step back, breathe, and not personalize. With time, it becomes automatic. You notice the instant your emotions surge. You intercept yourself before reacting. You pause, detach, and then respond. That pause, that minuscule space between stimulus and response, is where your power resides. In that pause, you are not a casualty. You are not reacting instinctively. You are selecting your response. And when you are selecting, you are in command. One further illustration. Someone insults you, questions your intelligence, disrespects you publicly. Your instinct: retaliate, justify yourself, demonstrate their errors, make them regret it. But if you are objective, you perceive it differently. This individual is attempting to incite you. They want you to lose control. They want you to appear unfavorable. If you react as they anticipate, you grant them precisely what they desire. So you do not react at all, or you respond with such equanimity, it disorients them. An interesting viewpoint. Thank you for sharing. Then you proceed as if it never affected you. That is the influence. That is the command. The strategic mind knew that whoever governs their emotions governs the result. Objectivity creates lucidity. Lucidity creates superior choices. Superior choices create superior outcomes. When you are challenged, when intensity mounts, when you feel the impulse to defend, breathe, step back, observe, detach, perceive the scenario for what it is, not what your emotions claim it is, then respond as you must, not as you feel. That is how you remain unshaken. 4. Serenity converts friction into advantage. Now we advance to genuine strategy. Because maintaining calm is not merely protective, it is an instrument. When situations intensify, serenity becomes conspicuous. Everyone is elevating their voices, becoming emotional. Interrupt. The atmosphere is tumultuous, and then there is you. Calm, anchored, not contributing to the cacophony. Instantly, you become the focal point. People listen differently. Not because you are loud, but because you are quiet in a space filled with noise. This is where advantage commences. When you are serene amidst chaos, others intuitively emulate your lead. They lower their voices to harmonize with yours. They decelerate. They seek you for guidance, stability, and confirmation. You become the anchor, the one who appears in command. Even if others hold superior rank, age, or experience, it is irrelevant. In that moment, legitimacy belongs to whoever seems least disturbed. This is pure strategic insight. He comprehended that genuine authority is not bestowed by titles. It is claimed by whoever demonstrates presence. In a disagreement with your partner, you remain serene while they are distressed. Suddenly, you are the rational one, even if partially mistaken. In familial conflicts, you keep your voice even while others shout. You become the person others seek for resolution. In workplace disputes, you retain composure while others lose theirs. Your superior perceives you as leadership material. This is not manipulation. It is comprehending reality. People are drawn to stability when everything is disintegrating. They desire someone who appears to know the subsequent step. If you are that individual, you acquire sway you did not previously possess. You do not require all the solutions. You do not need to be the most intelligent. You do not even need to be correct. You simply need to be calm. Serenity fabricates the illusion of capability. It leads people to believe you are more competent than you might actually be at that moment. Once they believe that, they yield to you. They solicit your opinion. They seek your endorsement. That is an advantage. Let us be explicit. Advantage here does not signify manipulation. It signifies you are in a superior position to steer the result in a manner that benefits all. With advantage, you can mitigate tensions, suggest solutions others would have dismissed if you were also emotional. You can state, let's all pause and approach this from a different angle, and people will actually listen because you are not part of the issue. You are part of the resolution. The philosopher wrote extensively on perception and power. He knew that how you are perceived frequently matters more than what you are. A leader who appears formidable is formidable, even if their domain is struggling. A person who appears calm is trusted, even if internally unsure. This is not deceit. It is understanding human nature. People decide based on what they observe and feel, not merely on facts. What they observe when you remain calm is strength, assurance, and command, so they grant you authority. Even if you lacked it before, you are debating with someone you value, a partner, a close friend, a sibling. It is escalating. They are saying hurtful things. You desire to reciprocate with hurtful words, but you remain calm. You listen. You do not interrupt. You do not raise your voice. What occurs? Initially, they may persist. They may continue to provoke, but eventually, your serenity affects them. They begin to feel uneasy. Being the sole emotional participant, they begin to calm down as well. When they calm down, the authentic conversation can finally occur, where you genuinely resolve the problem instead of merely wounding one another. That is an advantage. Not over them, but with them. Serenity does not merely protect you. It alters the entire dynamic. It transforms friction into a chance to lead, to guide, to forge a superior outcome. When the environment is heated, when emotions are high, when control seems lost, Do not contribute to the conflagration. Be the eye of the storm. Observe how rapidly you become the person everyone looks toward. 5. Uniformity constructs an impregnable reputation. This is where all elements converge. Remaining calm on one occasion in one meeting, one argument, one confrontation is beneficial. It assists in that moment. People note you managed it well. You advance, but maintaining calm uniformly across time. In every scenario, that is when you become invulnerable. If you are calm once, people dismiss it as chance. They were simply in a favorable mood, or they weren't truly invested. They do not attribute credit to you. They do not alter their perception of you. But if you persist in calmness consistently, every time an issue arises, every challenge, every high-pressure moment, people begin to categorize you. The label is immovable. Once that label adheres, it becomes your reputation, and your reputation safeguards you in ways you cannot envision. When you possess a reputation for maintaining equanimity under pressure, people cease attempting to pressure you. They realize it is ineffective. Raising their voice will not disturb you. Aggressive methods, intimidation, emotional coercion, none of it will affect you. So they stop expending energy. They approach you differently, with regard, formality, and their utmost conduct, because they understand that is the sole method to engage you. Your serenity becomes a barrier. It sieves out triviality before it even reaches you. Consider someone you know who never loses their composure. Genuinely, never. How do people treat that individual? Deliberately, with esteem, because everyone is aware that person will not react conventionally. Now, consider someone who consistently erupts, is perpetually emotional, consistently loses control. How are they treated? With wariness, certainly, but not respect. They are viewed as volatile, undependable, someone to evade. That is the effect of reputation. The strategic mind comprehended this. He knew uniformity distinguishes esteemed leaders from forgotten ones. A ruler who is occasionally brutal, occasionally compassionate, confuses people. They are uncertain what to anticipate. When people are uncertain, they do not trust you. But a ruler who is consistently judicious, consistently resolute, consistently calm, people know precisely what they will receive. That predictability builds trust. Even if they do not always favor your decisions, they respect your uniformity. The same applies to you. When you are consistently calm, people learn that is your nature, not a temporary state, but your character. Once it is your character, it becomes your identity. People introduce you accordingly. You need to meet Sam. Nothing unsettles them. Or at work, during a crisis, get Taylor in. They never panic. That reputation unlocks opportunities, creates possibilities, makes people desire you on their team, in their corner, leading their initiatives. Everyone wishes to collaborate with someone who will not crumble when difficulties arise. But here is the difficult reality. Constructing this reputation requires time and demands genuine uniformity. You cannot be calm for a month, then erupt at someone and anticipate your reputation to remain intact. It will. One significant loss of control can invalidate months of steady conduct, because people recall explosions more vividly than they recall calm. That is the function of human memory. We remember anomalies, dramatic instances, occasions someone acted contrary to their nature. Therefore, to construct an impregnable reputation, you must dedicate yourself, not for a week, not when suitable, but always. This does not imply you cannot experience emotions. You can be upset, annoyed, disheartened. It signifies you do not allow those emotions to dictate your demeanor. You experience them, you process them, but you do not permit them to govern your behavior at the moment. You continue to speak calmly, think clearly, and sustain your presence. Over time, that uniformity every instance you remain calm, when others anticipate an eruption, your reputation strengthens. Every instance you manage a crisis with composure, people trust you more. Every instance you refuse to be disturbed, you add another layer to the wall that protects you. Ultimately, that wall becomes so formidable nothing can penetrate it. People will probe you initially, particularly if they are accustomed to others fracturing. They will exert more pressure, attempt to incite you, and verify your authenticity. But if you pass those tests, if you remain immovable, every time they cease probing, they accept this is your identity, and they adapt their behavior accordingly. This is when you have genuinely triumphed, not merely in individual confrontations,
but in the enduring game. Now you do not need to engage in as many conflicts. Your reputation engages you. People approach you with regard from the outset. They do not attempt to intimidate you. They do not engage in games. They do not squander your time with theatrics. And on the rare occasion someone does challenge you, everyone else present is already your ally because they know you are not the problem. It was said, it is preferable to be feared than loved. If you cannot be both, but there is a third alternative, to be immovable. When you are immovable, people do not precisely fear you, and they may not love you, but they respect you profoundly, and respect is more valuable than either fear or love. Because respect endures, fear dissipates. When you are not vigilant, love fades. When emotions shift, but respect for someone who never fractures, that persists. If you retain nothing else, retain this. Composure is not merely a tactic. It is an identity. Construct that identity uniformly across time, and you do not merely endure confrontations. You transcend them entirely. Genuine strength in confrontation is not about volume, dominance, the loudest voice, or the sharpest retort. It is about steadfastness. People lose faith in those who cannot maintain their own cohesion. They observe someone trembling, their voice breaking, their emotions overflowing, and they think, this person cannot be entrusted with anything significant. But when they observe someone remaining calm, who does not flinch, who preserves their composure when all others disintegrate, they follow. They respect each other. Occasionally they even fear, not because you are aggressive, but because you are unassailable. The enduring lesson is straightforward. Command yourself first, and you command the circumstances. When you master your respiration, your stance, your voice, you master the environment. When you detach from emotion and act strategically, you secure long-term victory. When you remain calm, uniformly, you construct a reputation that protects you indefinitely. This is not hypothetical. This is the true mechanism of influence. The individual who remains unshaken does not need to be the most intelligent, the most powerful, or the most seasoned. They simply need to be the one who does not fracture, and over time, that becomes everything. Therefore, remember, you do not win disputes by being louder. You win by being unassailable. Practice this in minor moments initially, when someone interrupts you in traffic, when a coworker speaks harshly, when family provokes you. Remain calm, breathe slowly, speak steadily, detach. Each time you do, you are developing the skill, building the reputation, forging the identity. Ultimately, it becomes who you are. Not what you do in certain situations, but who you are in all situations. That is when you become genuinely unshaken. I remain unshaken. Internalize it, embody it, become it. You are unshaken now. Demonstrate.